I just logged into seeing I believe 3 different map runners die. I came back to dinner and I'm pretty sure that I've lost a map runner on every single device. Yep, and that's a rank 10 dead. And yep, that's another rank 10 dead. And yep, that is, let's see, is there one left? 2. Yeah, that's a rank 10 dead again. What a fantastic way to start my video. Hey guys, I'm Matt Lighty, and this is build diary number 6 for our bleed glad perforator. I'm perforating. And there's been some adjustments to the build. It's been a couple days, like a week or something even. But there's, like again, the upgrades are few and far between. I'd play other builds. However, there are some things to mention, so I figured it was good enough time. I haven't tried to level again since, really. I've just been doing bossing content on the character. So currently they are still level 98, which again, it's fine. There's like, if I want to get another a socket, that's basically my next level. So nothing like massive, but there have been some changes as of yet. So let's go through the list. My Pantheons have changed slightly. Soul of Aracali is what I'm using still, mostly for like the strange debuffs, like the reduced damage over time and the debuff dropping. And then the minor is Soul of Shikari. However, I'm probably going to be swapping Shikari onto, where is it? Not Relikesh. Probably Tukohama for the Fizzmit and the regen, because Chaos is less of a concern now. And probably swapping Aracali to most likely Solaris. And that's because we have made a little bit of an addition to the build, and that is Doppelgangers, guys. So Doppelganger, guys, is the chest off of Maven. It's like an 8 or 10% drop, and it has 2 really cool things because it has this unhinge sanity-insanity mechanic. Now you start sane, and if you unhinge, which is just like a toggleable state, boom, then I'm insane. But we want to be sane because being sane does some very cool stuff. Now, there's 2 things to note. One is there's a roll of a 30 to 40 on this that matters. You want to get close to a 40. This one's not a 40. But the other thing is it's a high evasion ES base, and we need 6 red. So what I decided to do was to double corrupt it through the temple and get it 6 white. If I get another one that's like a 40%, maybe I'll try to get 6 white on that. But basically trying to 6 red this thing outside of double corrupting for white sockets, honestly, is like an absolute fucking exercise in futility, and I wouldn't bother. It's like, even doing triple red, the odds are like, you're talking tens of thousands of chromes to hit 6 red on this. So, fuck that. Just do Doppelgangers, guys, with the double corrupt, or you could do tainted chromatics, but the odds of hitting 6 red are still not good for that. Anyway, so that sucks. But the chest itself is really interesting. So it has this function that says on the top end, 40% less physical and chaos damage taken. Notice how it doesn't say with hits, because this also applies to dots. What's the one killer of this build? Really, it's tremendous hits and then chaos and fizz dots. And what does this resolve? It helps the chaos and fizz dot portion pretty substantially, and also mitigates large physical and chaos hits, obviously. The second part is regenerating 10% life over 1 second when hit while sane. So this just gives us an extra 10% life hit. We're being hit constantly. We'll take more life regen, no problem there. The other thing we have is I have a new shield. Even then, I'm going to get another shield, but this one does have a couple of things we wanted. We wanted the crit reduction, we wanted the high life, we wanted some chaos res. This one's not great, but we're going to make one live right now. So my chaos res is 28% at the moment. Doesn't seem high. However, you have to keep in mind, I'm taking 35% less chaos damage, and against dots, we have 68 chaos res from our Pantheon. So I can actually go a little bit under my chaos res. I do have a shield that I was going to work with, and we have one of 2 things that are interesting here. So these are just some things I've found. Fractured life means it's really easy to do like a shield like this. This one is already pretty much better if we care about the chaos res, and the armor we're going to get from the shield because we have an exacerbated base is nice. We don't need the ES crafting the shield anymore. Doppelgangers has ES on it, so it puts us at a little bit over our ES buffer, 215 there, which is really cool. Or we could do a shield like this, which is a hunter shield that has these specific suffixes I try to craft. One of them is avoid ailments. The other one is the chill attackers on block, which makes them just have 10% reduced action speed. And then the socketed reservation efficiency lets us run additional aura if we want. So we could do something like this and then do a reforge, like with life situation, with the suffixes can't be changed. If you wanted to go that route, this is a really nice one to do. So you could do that sort of thing, and that you could put your auras in, and then let you pretty much run an extra aura if I wanted to run an extra aura. So something like a Tempest Shield, you know, when we have our prefixes done. So that's a cool potential project there. So there's like a couple avenues you could take with the shield, whether it's a fractured one that just looks like more of the stuff we want but better, or an influence version utilizing something like an on-block effect, helping to get ailment immunity if you want to drop your Purity of Elements, do a Storm Shroud setup or something like that, or the reservation for running more auras. So there's a lot of cool avenues there. And yeah, there's another thing we grabbed also. I dropped a couple regen nodes. I think I dropped the Hardy setup in favor of Dirty Techniques. This gives us our dot damage more quickly, and it also lets us get the mastery for 10% less damage from dots. Again, it's kind of compounding on the idea behind Doppelgangers guys and things like that. Dots are scary, unknown dots are scary, so dealing damage more quickly is good. Plus, my attack speed is a little bit higher, and that's because I finally made a new weapon, and it's really fucking nice. Look at that in all its glory. It is flaring plus tyrannical with high attack speed. Now, this was crafted using the same method I've showcased in all these type of things, and I mentioned a whole Fizz video about it. It's very straightforward. You're creating flat on one item, you're getting hybrid or percent on the item, recombine it together. Eventually it'll work. Did it take 50 attempts to get something like this? Yeah, it did. And it's not a great way to finish that last prefix, so I just put on increased dot damage. I have a lot of multi, so this additive is kind of nice. And then I put on the Runic Implicit for just more physical damage. So it's just a fat fucking Reaver axe, which is exactly what I did. And just for some context, my previous axe, okay, had me at 24k DPS. This thing has me at 32k DPS. Huge difference there. The only thing that we do not have that I looked at this and mentioned is I did lose my frenzy body, my frenzy on my body. So we don't have that frenzy generation anymore from our previous body armor. We had that frenzy passive. So we do have to grab, and I just been a lazy shit about this. I think I have some here. Yeah, so we just have to quality our poacher's mark. And if anything, I might end up putting, oh yeah, this we don't need. This is something, that's a meme item there. Our poacher's mark, and I'm probably gonna link an enhance to it. So it's poacher's mark, mark on hit, enhance. And enhance is going to increase the quality of poacher's mark, which gives us frenzy when hit. So get to grant a frenzy when hits from the enemy. So it's like it's frenzy on hit. So this will give us plenty of frenzy charges there, coupled with just the still keeping the charge duration. Just means it's like a nice way of not having to worry about that. So eventually we're going to probably slap that bad boy on there. I just haven't bothered to level one yet. There's not a great way to level these enhanced enlightened that sort of supports at the moment. So whenever I get around to it, I'll do that. I guess we could color it right now. I've just been very bad about leveling gems and doing quality, so I will get around to all this in due time. But I'm just kind of a lazy shit. So either way, that poacher's mark setup will be a lot nicer for my charge generation, so that'll be fantastic. And because of this, I did move some stuff over. I moved over my Void Sphere to my cast some damage taken setup. And I just removed Volm since I'm running Poacher's Mark. It's honestly fine. Also, just remembered, because we have the Doppelgangers guys on, I did re-pick up Iron Reflexes, because I just wanted to have an amount of armor there. It does give us a pretty nice chunk. Our 26 becomes 42. Granted, we have 7 endurance charges. Our Fizz mitigation is totally fine, but yeah, there's no reason not to just for 1 point get that amount of extra stuff. I've been doing bossing in this character in 17s, like 0 deaths basically. The only death I've experienced is getting detonated by a Revenant off of a 17, which kind of seems like a perpetual problem, so aside from that, it's been really nice. The new axe is a huge damage upgrade, and that's been pretty noticeable. Let's just do like a little bit of a 17, I guess, to showcase where the build's at, but no, overall I've really had no complaints. It's feeling pretty nice. I'm not really sure what else I'd like to do with it, as far as like amendments or such. Yeah, overall it's just feeling really good. Definitely gotta get that enhanced situation set up, but yeah, I'm very happy with it. The clear fit, I mean, just feels the same. It feels good. All your popping is great. The void sphering is nice. You're pretty much blocking non-stop, and if you don't block, Doppelgangers kind of has your back along with all your regen, so it's just a good feel. Not sure if I want to take it to 100 or not. It wouldn't be a difficult thing, it would just be a time-consuming thing. And the problem is, like, eventually, this isn't, like, this is a build where it's not going to have as good clear. But yeah, I could just do, like, you know, some sort of Abyss domination mapping and then just get to 100 like that, and I don't think there's anything that's outside of a 17 or an Uber boss that would really be able to kill me. So if that's the route I wanted to go, I totally could. Yeah, like even the detonate deads you see in traditional maps, like non-16 maps, just simply nothing has enough life that the detonate could kill you. So it's kind of like, whatever. Little tier 17 boss action. This map has like more life, I think, but honestly the damage feels like pretty much fine. For all these 17 bosses, I just kind of park myself on them and then just hold Q, just like any other content we've experienced thus far. Even when doing bosses that you know you could tank the abilities for, just like don't. Like I've mentioned this so many times, but we don't want to get in the habit of just face tanking stuff, even though we're playing a build that, like, we know measuredly is quite tanky. But yeah, I mean, tier 17 bossing, no problem. It's just not, you know, not too much of an issue. You just sit here and fucking hold right click, and that's all I have to say about that. If you did want to do 17s with this build, and you just wanted to just push lots of them, I would, however, recommend kind of just foregoing Perforate or any bleed skill and just use 6-link Eviscerate. I would spec a little bit into the tree, specifically the AoE, possibly the quicker retaliation thing in lieu of aggravated, because at the end of the day, like, you want to just be able to walk through a pack and one-shot them, and kind of for bleed skills, unless you're doing something like a very large ground slam, nothing kind of is as good as Eviscerate, ultimately. Eviscerate plus a Rithlothas type thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's where I feel like all roads kind of lead towards, but that's all preference. Anyway, that's about it for this update. I gotta go find more mappers because they keep fucking dying to God knows what, but you know what? Doesn't really die. This build, still pretty good. Would recommend. I'll update you for the next update in the future, or if this is the last update, because, you know, stuff is kind of where I want it. I do want to grab more Awaken gems. I've got Awaken Melee Fizz, but possibly getting that Brutality. I did also swap to using Bloodthirst and Cruelty. I can't remember if it was in the last video, but basically we ended up POBing it, and it's just a more consistent setup. But honestly, the difference between this and Ruthless and Slams, or whatever combination, is pretty negligible ultimately, so yeah, not a big deal either way. I've been Matt Lighty. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. Enjoy your Gladiator experience. I'm enjoying mine, and I'll see you guys in the next build update video. Bye-bye.